Testing, apart from the Bahrain circuit deciding to take a note from Las Vegas's book, has been an understated affair in every sense. Teams like McLaren and Red Bull being ominously quiet while plodding on with their testing routines, and the usual back-of-the-grid suspects having issues, but none quite as dramatic as previous years, and typically resolved quickly and efficiently. Heck, even when things have gone somewhat wrong, the teams have drawn the shutters down and opened them back up with such little fanfare that it's even surprised the coverage team. Mercedes then are no different, with their eye-catching and would-be controversy stoking car taking to the track and going through the motions. However, there is a sense that there is still more to come from the team. Early testing days are rife with overfueling, sandbagging and engine modes made to last the distance rather than scare the field, and with a certain technical guru finding the car particularly interesting, could there be more under the bodywork than meets the eye? Want to know why Mercedes could shock the field this season? For better or for worse, this year is make or break for them. And stick around because the reaction coming out from F1 themselves could cause worry for the Brackley team. So going into testing, there were two words on everyone's lips surrounding the Mercedes: front wing. The legality of the W15's nose job was called into uncertainty by the media due to just how extreme of a change it is, with the upper flap on the wing being connected to the nose by the humorously named legality wire, which still sounds incredibly bait to me, to say the least, and would make for one of the funniest oxymorons in sports history if the legality wire was deemed illegal. The wing looked to reintroduce a benefit that disappeared with the 2022 technical regulations known as the Y250 Vortex, which disappeared due to tighter front wing restrictions. The Y250 Vortex more optimally directs airflow to the underbody, and with it being at the very front of the car, this means that the air moving under the car will be as clean as possible. The front wing is just part of the Mercedes gambit to move away from the failed W13 and W14 project. According to Toto Wolff, the wing was never in doubt, as the Mercedes team boss said, "I think what is being put on the car is always following an exchange with the FIA all through the process. There is no such thing as having a clever idea and bolting it on without checking, so there is a long process of dialogue over the winter, so I feel we're in an okay place." And as of Wednesday, Wolff was proved correct, with the FIA deeming it a legal component and not at odds with the rules put forward by the governing body. However, speculation surrounding the wings has brought forward an interesting argument and potentially sheds light on the reason for the decision to design the wing in this way. The team has stressed that the wing isn't a core component that will lead to the car being substantially faster. However, there could well be another reason for its application, which might cause even further outcry from rivals, and that is to do with the so-called spirit of the regulations. This is due to the reason that the previous aero restrictions were scrapped in favor of the new ones, with Article 3 in the regulations stating the aim is to enable the cars to race closely by ensuring that the aerodynamic performance loss of a car following another car is kept to a minimum. It's believed that the wing may direct the turbulent vortex effect under the car, but that air has to go somewhere after going through the floor, meaning the air being launched from the back of the W15 could be far more turbulent and disruptive to cars behind you. If you cast your mind back to last year, perhaps the most shocking advantage that Red Bull had, which was marveled at every single time it occurred, was their overtaking advantage, especially under DRS. So drastic was it that Ferrari seems to have tried to create a beastly DRS system of their own. However, Mercedes could well have acted in a different manner, one that is focused on maintaining a position rather than claiming it back, perhaps in anticipation that the rest of the grid will try and emulate Red Bull's phenomenal DRS system. It's unknown just how strong this effect would be, if it even is the intention, until the first races of the season when we get true on-track comparisons. This could prove to be a real sleeper of an upgrade, one that is not directly visible until the season is already underway, with a history of bringing proactive under the bodywork measures that get spotted too late and subsequently banned at the back end of the season, like DAS a few years back. It would certainly make sense if Mercedes were hiding less direct measures of maintaining rather than gaining advantages under the car. A man who knows a thing or two about cheating, Pat Simmons, was quick to criticize the supposed Mercedes approach, however also said that it is far too soon to know just how affected the front wing system is when it comes to its possible effects. Is that really within the spirit of the rules? It's within the regulations, it's within the letter of the law, there's absolutely no doubt about it. Is it the sort of thing we want? I think we will need to know how strong is the effect. Yeah, Pat, because getting your own driver to crash into the wall to give your other driver an advantage is certainly in the spirit of things, isn't it? While certainly a figure with a controversial background, Simmons could perhaps be onto something, as the Mercedes team are trying to keep the effects of the front wing so secretive that they have opted for UV reactive flow-vis paint to keep the effects of the front wing as close to their collective chests as possible. In all likelihood, the extent to the front wing's efficacy will only be on true display at the first race, but Mercedes will certainly have a better idea of its effects by utilizing this Bond-esque approach to their testing of the new front aero. Regardless of its efficacy, the car has certainly caught the attention of Adrian Newey, with Andrew Benson revealing the technical guru's reaction to his rival's car. Newey said at the Red Bull's car launch that there was an innovation on the Mercedes that he found interesting, although he would not reveal what it was. The suspicion is that he was referring to the front wing design. Could this be a case of game respecting game? Or is this interesting in the same way that my partner's cooking is? Well, we'll have to wait and see, but something has clearly caught Newey's eye, it would seem. If it does prove to be both effective and legal, Sam Collins, a personal favourite member of the coverage team who really comes into his own at this time of year, revealed that Mercedes may have pulled off a design that teams would not be able to easily attain themselves, even if they wanted to, with the technical expert having this to say. Mercedes decided they wanted to have an old front wing. Looking at the Sauber, the upper element, the top blade on the front wing, that's what everyone thought the rules should be, but if you look at the outer end, there's just a tiny bit of linkage at the end plate. That little black section keeps that legal. Mercedes has taken that concept, flipped it on its head and cut away the whole inner section of the front wing. It's something that every team up and down the pit lane will be scurrying off into the wind tunnel to take a really close look at what the team is trying to do. It's not something you can just copy, it has a massive impact on the rest of the car. Even without the supposed disruptive elements on the new Mercedes, there seems to be a positive atmosphere surrounding the car, with the drivers being happy that the design team has removed many of their complaints with the car's previous iteration. A key element that seems to have been addressed is the so-called spiteful rear end, with George Russell stating that the aims of the team on day one was not to display the pace of the car. If that is to make an appearance, it will more likely be on the final day of testing, rather to discover the extent that the car reflects the wind tunnel and R&D targets set for the W15. Speaking after the practice session, Russell had this to say. Overall, the W15 does feel nicer to drive than last year's car. We know that it's not about feeling but the speed. Nevertheless, today was about learning and not about chasing performance. We're focused on ourselves at this test, and it will only be next week when we see where we stack up against the others. Russell managed 121 laps on the first day, second to only Verstappen, in which the team managed a full race sim, providing pivotal data in which the team can use for the remaining testing sessions and the season ahead. Russell went on to say, "From hitting the ground, it felt like we had a good foundation to start from. We completed a lot of laps and we have plenty of data to go through tonight. We ended the day in a reasonably good spot, and we can build from here over the next 2 days. We will be focused on maximizing mileage for learning rather than chasing an optimum sweet spot with the car. It was a positive first day, and I'm looking forward to being back in the car on Friday." There are multiple teams staying ominously quiet, with McLaren, Aston, Ferrari, Red Bull and Mercedes all keeping it stum about their feelings towards the car. However, each seems to hold a quiet confidence that they have a car which will allow them to be competitive from the off.